Okay. I don't know who was here yesterday and who wasn't. So I'll just go through these quick hitters again quickly. Um, Economic profit is total revenue minus explicit and implicit costs. Explicit costs are anything you pay for, rent, food, labor. Implicit cost is like something you give up. Um, I could have been a lawyer instead of a teacher. Um, so that would be instead of making 50,000, I could be making 200,000. That would be my implicit cost. Unless you're told, we always go with the economic total revenue minus explicit and implicit cost. Accounting profits are total revenue minus explicit cost only. All right, short run is whenever there's a fixed resource. Long run, no fixed resources. Supply curve, okay, it's the MC above the AVC. The MC above the AVC. All right, a lump sum ships only ATC. A lump sum ships only ATC. An excise tax or per unit subsidy shifts ATC and MC. So again, a lump sum, tax, or subsidy, only ATC. An excise tax or per unit subsidy shifts MC and ATC. Variable and fixed costs equal total cost. Marginal productivity and marginal cost have an inverse relationship. So if marginal cost is going up, marginal productivity is going down. The law of diminishing marginal returns is in the short run. So at first you have increasing marginal product with increasing total product. Then you have decreasing marginal product with increasing total product, and then negative. And then economies of scale, we did the last day, is as output increases, average total cost decreases. All right. Before I go on to the multiple choice, like practice questions, does anyone have a question on any of those terms? You could just put it in the chat box if you have a question on any of those terms. Brooks, the law of diminishing marginal returns is in the short run. And again, it's only in the short run, yes, Matteo. In the long run, it's the economies of scale, constant scale, and diseconomies. And Brooks, the law of diminishing marginal returns is, well, first of all, as you add more workers to a fixed resource, eventually marginal productivity will decrease. Are you two good now? Okay. Anyone else on anything on this? Stephen, economies of scale is the downward sloping part of the ATC. As output increases, average total cost decreases. Okay. All right. Give everyone a minute. Oh, that isn't good. I'm going to try to get everything off the screen, so maybe you could. That isn't good either. That didn't work. Let's see. Maybe this will work. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you a minute to figure out the dominant strategy for Purple Rain. And I do understand that some of you were here yesterday and we did it, but there are 4 multiple choice questions on game theory. So I just want to make sure we're good. I'll give you a minute and then we'll chat in the answer. Okay. Dominant strategy for Purple Rain is, what do you guys have? I got low, 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 low. All right. Looks like everyone's going with low, which is good because that is the dominant strategy. All right. Now, I'm just going to go through it again as a practice. And again, because there are kind of four questions. When I'm looking at Purple Rain, I'm looking across and I'm looking at Purple Rain's profit. So I forgot what this is. I think it's Blue Spring goes high. Purple Rain could go high and make 20 or low and make 50. I'm going to use an X for Purple Rain. I'm going to go low and make 50. If Blue Spring goes low, Purple Rain can make 2,000 or 10,000. They're going to make 10,000. Dominant strategy is low. And the reason it's a dominant strategy is because no matter what Blue Spring does, Purple Rain's going to go low. Now, I'm going to look at Blue Spring so I could just go over everything they could ask in a question like this. Blue Rain goes high, Blue Spring go high and make 20. Oh, can't see these, but I'm pretty sure Blue Spring was also low, low. Okay, I'm sorry, but you would just look down. Now, where there's a check and an X, that's Nash's equilibrium. And remember, all that means is there's no incentive for one of them to leave by themselves because they'll make less profit, or no incentive to cheat. Now, they could ask, what would happen if Purple Rain and Blue Spring colluded? Then we'd go high, high, because that would be the most profit, 20 and 20. So the questions they could ask is dominant strategy, Nash's equilibrium, and then collusion. Okay, those are three questions they usually ask in game theory. Okay. All right. Any questions on the game theory? All right. I'll give you kind of a sample multiple choice here, and I'll give you a minute, and then I'll ask you for an answer.
Yeah.
But what do you mean by do the opposite?
I think I meant like if one decides to cheat. Is there like a definition for that?
No, it would just be like if one decides to cheat, you know, in this one, you couldn't be in Nash's equilibrium. You'd have to be outside of Nash's equilibrium. And there is no term.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, what do we have for this one? Knocking your answers. I got a lot of broccoli. Okay. Broccoli is the answer. All right. Now, here is kind of no question, but this is an example of economies of scale. Okay. So, now it's not going to let me be the pencil. Okay. So here is economies of scale, downward sloping ATC in the long run. Remember, it has to be average total cost, not total cost. Output is increasing, and average total cost is decreasing. This flat thing is constant. Output is increasing, average total cost. They're going to try to get you with total cost. It's not total cost, it's average total cost. And finally, this economies of scale, where output's increasing, its average total cost is also increasing. All right, economies of scale, output increases, ATC decreases. Constant, output increases, ATC is the same. Economies, output increases, ATC increases. All right. I guarantee there's a question on economies of scale. I think if you know what I just told you there, you will be fine. Any questions on the economies of scale? Okay. All right. Give you like 40 seconds, and then I'll ask you for the answer of the marginal product of the third worker. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, we got a lot of sevens. The third worker, 27 minus 20 is 7. All the marginals are the same. Change in total product over change here in workers. It's the change in worker is 1. 27 minus 20 is 7. Okay, the firm is a profit maximizing firm. Is it making or losing money? Don't type that in yet. If average revenue is 30, what is MC of this firm? Give you like a minute to think. All right, let's answer the first thing, making or losing money. Okay, I've got all losing. ATC is above the price. We're losing money. Okay, if the AR is 30, what is the MC? Come on, if the AR is 30, what is the marginal cost? I got a 30, a 30. Okay, if average revenue is 30, Mr. DARP, MR is 30. MR equals MC in the profit maximizer, so MC is 30. Okay? Remember, Mr. DARP and DARP. So they do this a lot. They throw the AR at you, and instead of telling you what MR is, or they throw the price. So you got to be ready for that. Okay? Now, what should this firm do? Anyone? All right. We're going to shut down in the short run. Yeah. We're going to shut down because price is below ABC. So whenever you see excuse me, whenever you see an AVC curve, you got to think in your mind, should they shut down? Yes, prices below AVC, we're shutting down. Okay. Supply curve is the MC above the AVC. Why? Because below the AVC, we're shutting down. Okay. Okay. So I'm showing you this. I want you to think what happens to firms, what happens to market share, which is do they have more or less customers, and what happens to demand in the long run. This is monopolistic competition. Take a minute, and then I'll ask you for your answers. Oh, sorry. Oh, geez. There you go. All right. All right. I see an AVC curve, but the price is above AVC. I'm making money. I'm not shutting down. All right. What happens to firms? Enter or exit? Charlie, I'll go back after we get through with this slide. Yes. All right. They're going to enter. All right. What happens to the amount of customers this firm has? Increase, decrease, or stay the same? Increase, decrease, or stay the same? Okay. Therefore, what's going to happen to demand? It's going to decrease. So demand and MR are both going to shift left and down. All right, good job. So, Charlie, this was the slide you wanted me to go back to, right? Okay. All right. Any questions on this? Why would market share decrease? Because firms are making money in monopolistic competition, Marco. Therefore, other firms are going to enter. So, say this is Mr. Bressler's Pizza, and you come in with Marco's Hamburgers. Some of my customers are going to go to you, so the demand for my pizza is going to decrease. Does that make sense? Okay. And that's in monopolistic competition. All right. Just a little flash from the past. If income elasticity is 0.9, this shows the product is. Okay. I will give you like 45 seconds. Okay. What type of good do we have here? Anyone for the answer here? All right. We got normal good, C, no, yes. All right. Negative is inferior, positive is normal. Good job. If the firm raises its price, okay, what happens to total revenue and what happens to profits? I'll give you like a minute to think about it. If the firm raises its price, what happens to total revenue and what happens to profits? Okay, let's do the first thing. Does total revenue increase, decrease, or stay the same? Okay. Now, where MR hits the axis here is the highest total revenue. Okay. If I increase my price, I'm going here. Well, yeah, I'm increasing my price, moving further away from the highest total revenue. So therefore, price is going to decrease. I mean, total revenue is going to decrease. And I'm in the elastic region. Price up, total revenue down. Price down, total revenue up. Okay? So you guys got that. Does profits increase, decrease, or stay the same? What happens to profits? Increase, decrease, or stay the same? Okay, we're all getting decrease, which is true. Anytime you leave the profit maximizer, okay, profits are going to go down. The profit maximizer is the highest place of profits. Okay. Now, profit would be total revenue minus total cost. Yeah, unit elastic is the maximum total revenue. If you take the where the MR hits the axes, straight up to demand is unit elastic, and that's the highest total revenue. Okay. Now, if marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue, if marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue, should a firm increase its output, decrease its output, or keep the output the same? Again, if marginal cost is less than, if marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue, if marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue, if a firm's trying to increase its profits, should it produce more output, less output, or keep it the same? What do you guys think? Okay, great. You're always decreasing output if marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue. And obvious, if marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, you'd increase. Whoops. All right. Suppose a monopolistically competitive firm can increase profits by decreasing its output. Then it must be the case that at the current level of output, give people about 45 seconds. Okay. I guarantee there's a question like this on the test. What do we have here? What do we got for answers? All right. E as in Ellen, right? If you can increase your profits by decreasing the output, marginal cost has to be greater than marginal revenue. And that's an E. Good job. Then short run production front. Which of the following is true when total product is increasing at a decreasing rate? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Okay, what do we have here? I got a couple of D's. If Mar, okay, now I got a couple of E's. Okay, it's going to be E as in Ellen, because marginal product must be positive. That's why total product is increasing. But if it's increasing at a decreasing rate, marginal product must be decreasing. Okay. It's in that second stage of the law of diminishing marginal returns. So it's going to be like, so like, it could be in the downward sloping. So marginal product is decreasing, but since it's positive, total product is increasing, but less and less each time. And total product only starts to decrease when marginal product crosses the axis and goes negative. Okay. Now, in the first stage where marginal product is upward sloping, marginal product is increasing, and total product is increasing at an increasing rate. Does anyone have any questions? Because that was one of the few that we had different answers. Any questions on that? Okay, I'll take you for your word. And whoop. All right, I can't see this, so I got to try to slide. Which of the following is true when total product is at its maximum? Which of the following is true when total product is at its maximum? I'll give you a minute. Okay, what do we got for an answer? A lot of broccoli. Okay, that's true of any marginal. When the marginal is at zero, the total is at its highest. Good job. The firm's current output level, average fixed cost is $10, average variable cost is 30, average total cost is 40, and the marginal cost is 55. Which of the following must be true? Give you a minute to look at that. Try to move the chat box out of the way. Okay, what do we've got here? Nice, dogwood. All right, good job. Average fixed cost has to be decreasing. That's a given. That's why the difference between AVC and ATC always goes down. If marginal cost is greater then total cost and variable cost, it's going to pull those curves up. So they're going to be increasing. Okay. All right. I think it's the last question I have for the day. Then if anyone has any other questions. A graph shows quantity of output produced on the horizontal axis and shows variable cost and total cost on the vertical axis. Which of the following is true about the vertical distance between total variable cost and total cost as output increases? Okay, what do we got here? We got A, right? Okay, because average fixed cost is going to decrease. Right. Does anyone have any other questions they want to ask? Yeah, Tucker. Um, the dis the let me try to graph it. Or hold it. I'm going to go. All right. Do you know the space between ABC and ATC is average fixed cost? All right. Average fixed cost is always decreasing. Hold on. This one? All right. Average fixed cost is always decreasing because fixed cost stays solid. So if fixed cost is 50, 50 times 1 unit is 50, 50 divided by 2 is 25, 50 divided by 3. So average fixed cost always goes down. If the marginal cost is greater than the average, I mean, think of if the average is 40 and the next unit is 55, what's that going to do to the average total cost? It has to raise it, right? And if the average variable cost is 30 and the cost of the last product was 55, it's got to raise that average. So both those averages have to be going up, and average fixed cost is always going down. Does that make sense to you? Okay. I'm trying to get down there. Does anyone else have any other questions? Is there a total product? Where's the total product question? Total product is just like marginal product, Gabriel, is the additional product for additional output. Total is adding up all the marginals. I don't know, did that help you any? Any other questions? Okay, I will be in my room 9 on the multiple choice. I'm assuming you mean the practice quiz. Okay, 9. When marginal cost is rising, both average, it's D, both average variable cost and average. If marginal cost is rising, all you know is marginal product is falling. Now, if marginal cost is below average variable cost and average total cost will be falling. If it's above them, it'll be rising. But since you don't know is marginal cost below or above average total cost? You don't know, is it rising or falling? Does that make sense, Stephen? Hug it. Where is, yeah, the answer would be D, Stephen. Tucker, what do you mean by marginal price?
So
Marginal product is zero. And that means when you hire that worker, they don't make any more product. So it's like so overcrowded that, say we were making 50 pizzas, me and you, then we hire Steven and we're still making 50 pizzas because there's no room for us to work. So that's how marginal product becomes zero. Any other questions? I will be in my room at 7:45 tomorrow if you need any question. I really encourage you to take the practice test